How conditioned are black men? Okay, let's be real. Now, drive through your local inner city or your hood environment, whatever you want to call it, okay? And tell me if you still see lighter skinned black women, okay, or mixed black women, maybe not black and white, but maybe black and Hispanic or Puerto Rican or whatever, who are over the age of 27, right? Because if we're so conditioned, they shouldn't be there. Every last single well-to-do brother should be going in there and swooping these chicks up. They shouldn't be there at all. They should all be off in the suburbs doing their thing. You shouldn't drive through any block and see any light-skinned, long-hair, European feature black woman there. They shouldn't be there. They should be getting swooped up because we're so damn conditioned. But they're still there. I can go to LA right now and see pretty attractive chicks, but still living in the hood and still caught up in that whole lifestyle. Happens all the time. So if we're so conditioned, once again, why aren't brothers like myself and, more established brothers just coming through with sweeping them up and saying, I'll take you in. I don't care if you have a kid or not. And just changing up their whole environment. Pretty much upgrading their lifestyle. Wouldn't be too hard. Why aren't we? Because there's a cap to how conditioned we are. We still understand the reality of the world that we live in. Okay, so if you're a middle class brother or you're doing your thing, you understand that there's a set of cultural norms and values that have to be there. So it doesn't matter how cute or attractive you are. It is what it is. They're still there. I can go out and run some errands and I'll see the most attractive women, okay? Red bone, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not hollering, and if I'm at a spot and there's other black men there, they're not hollering either. They're not messing with that because, yeah, she's cute, you may mess with her. She may be the jump off, whatever. I'm not saying I do that now, but I'm saying they might get treated that way. But in terms of, I'm going to take this girl home and I'm going to wife her up and I'm going to just, really make her lifestyle official, you don't see that happening. Because at the end of the day, she still has to fit into that world. It's as simple as that. She can be cute as all hell, right? But if she doesn't know the day-to-day lifestyle of living in the middle class or upper class, it's not going to work and it's not going to fly. Once again, I want to highlight that you have a lot of brothers who are going off and dating interracially, doing their thing, not because of some self-hate issue or because they're conditioned, but because they grew up a certain way. It is what it is. You can be black and she can be white, but if you guys both grew up middle class, there will be a connection there, whether you like it or not. There will be a set of shared values. Not all of them, but there will be a set of shared values. Okay? Just because two black people are together doesn't mean they share the same set of values. And like I said before, our conditioning isn't enough for that to be, there's no override. These chicks aren't hitting some override button and we're saying, oh, okay, well, we'll accept you. No. Well, that's not going to fly. Even in college. The school I went to was around a couple of malls. You had some Walmarts and you had some Targets. So you had, a lot of younger black folks who jumped straight into the workforce after they graduated. Okay, so they're working at Best Buy or somewhere. And there would be some cuties. Okay, but we never hollered. So we all knew, yeah, there's a bomb chick that works at Best Buy, but nobody really hollered because we knew what she was about. Not trying to say that, chicks who are working or, who went into the workforce after school, are hood rats or anything like that. But I'm saying this particular chick, she was hood, she was ghetto, the way her hair was, I knew some people that knew her. So we were straight. I had certain, odd jobs where I was working with younger people who weren't necessarily in school, and a lot of them were attractive. But I was never on some, let me try to holler and bring you to my world because it was too different. I was in school, they weren't. So the worlds were completely different. So for most of the black dudes, we were only messing with chicks who were in school. So even if we were conditioned, guess what? We were only messing with the light-skinned chicks who were in college, not the light-skinned chicks who were just, around the block. We weren't. And where I went to school at, we weren't isolated. We weren't off in some suburb, right? It wasn't like that. we're pretty much in a rougher area. Now, on the flip side, okay, go out and you'll see, some brothers who may be working at Foot Locker or, what's the word I'm looking for? Target or some other places. Not on some, these are bum ass niggas, but on some, the type that I'm just trying to chill. I spend my paycheck on, Nikes. At the time, it was Bapes, Bathing Apes, right? The type of brothers that would work, get a $400 paycheck and blow it all on shoes. Those type of dudes, right? So those dudes were there too. Guess what? When we had a college party, they were there. So when we talk about conditioning, how conditioned are we if black men can say, yo, you're cute, but you don't fit into my world? But on the flip side, you have black women who will say, because I find you attractive, I don't care where you come from. There's no reason that my college experience, right? I can tell you stories about how I went to a college party and almost got shot and almost got beat up or stabbed or whatever. What happened? These women that I went to school with were finding dudes who were attractive who weren't doing shit. But because they were attracted to them, right, they were like, let's see if they can work. But on the flip side, when we went to parties, there was never any head rats. So a black chick can go to a college party and didn't worry about getting beat up by another black chick who looked at her wrong. Because we weren't messing with these chicks. As light-skinned and as fair-skinned or whatever, long hair, certain features as they wanted to be, it still wasn't enough. So how conditioned are we? That's a big question, but like I said in the beginning, it's not we're conditioned, but it's not enough to override the whole idea of she has to fit into the world that I'm in or the world that I'm going to. It is what it is. So my test to any of y'all, go through your local neighborhood or your rougher parts and look at what you see. There shouldn't be any lighter skinned women that fall into that category because we should all be swooping them up. They should be non-existent. But as you will see, they're there. They may be the best option out of the women in that environment, but they're definitely not crossing over. That's for sure. Definitely not. And I've seen it all. Right? At my barbershop at one point in time, there was a lot of affluent black men that went there. In the late 90s, a lot of affluent black men would go there just because it was a different time period from my barber and what was going on. So there would be a lot of affluent black men there. And at the time, he had a couple of hairdressers in the back of the shop. Bomb. Light skin, all that other good stuff, right? The quote-unquote typical girl that black men, go head over heels for. And they had a fine clientele, but they was all hood. All hood. The barbershop was in a rough part of the neighborhood. So the affluent black men would never holler. They may look, they may flirt, but they were never hollering. They were never on some, let me upgrade your lifestyle. Why? Because they knew what was there. So people can turn around and say, oh, they're conditioned to like white women. To be real with you, what was actually in that barbershop, there's no other group of women on this earth that can match the type of hotness that was in that barbershop growing up as a kid. We used to drool, and I was only 98, 8th grade, 9th grade. We used to drool. But none of these dudes, S500 this, 7 Series that, they wasn't hollering. I'm not even talking about dudes who, have a used S500 or whatever. These is like real affluent dudes, that have the little college license plate holder. Never hollered. Never. So if we're so conditioned, there's no reason to why they weren't swooping up these women. Hardcore. Here's the keys, baby. But they weren't doing it. So, to answer the question out there, how conditioned are black men? Like I said, we may be conditioned, but it's not enough to forego the social norms and beliefs that we want to protect when we do have some level of success. So anyways, you guys take it easy. Tell me how you feel. God bless.